Alright guys, this is the video lecture for 1.4. Before we get started with the lecture, I want to get started with the ticket in, and this is going back to 1.2 with opportunity costs. Excuse me. Um, Real quick, I want you guys, for those of you that are watching this at home because of quarantining for COVID, I want you guys to just think about what is a potential opportunity cost of the money or anything else that it is that goes into getting a ticket for grad night. Now, I want you guys to remember that opportunity cost is the next best option. So what is the next best option for these two options? One is getting a ticket for grad night, and the other is getting a high school diploma. Now, let's get started with the lecture. This section is 1.4, called The Economist's Toolbox. Again, anything that's written in green, you guys need to write down Cornell note style in your notebook with 2R notes and a summary. And anything that is red, you do not need to write down, but it is still important to know. So, working with data. Decisions we make on economic choices are put together and labeled as statistics. Okay, guys? So, every decision that we make in the sense of economics is getting labeled as a statistic of some sort. That could be the different things that we're buying with our money, that could be the things that we're doing with our time. It could be how much we're deciding to put into savings accounts. It could be anything that has to do with economic choices, whether that be money, time, or anything else like that. We use these stats to determine what we like and what continues to be made. So we kind of have to think about this as I want you guys to kind of think about this as the algorithm that Instagram uses. Okay? Everybody knows that Instagram uses an algorithm that shows you what you like and what you don't like. So what pops up on your feed is based off of that. Okay, the data that the economists are pulling from our choices, rather that be what we buy, how much we save, and what we do with our time. Those statistics, I'm sorry, are being used, and they're being used to predict the future of our economic activity, and those are called trends. Okay, now unlike my example with Instagram, we do not use these in pictures and videos and shorts and like Instagram does. We use these in charts, graphs, and tables. These are the different common tools that are used. The most common ones are graphs. If we think back to 1.3, we see that in the productions possibilities chart. Lines, bars, and pie graphs are the most common graphs. Microeconomics. Okay, this is the study of economics through the microscope. Okay, so with that being said, I want you guys to think small. When you guys hear microeconomics, I want you guys to think small. Think Fresno County, Reedley, California. Do not think California. Think much more small. In microeconomics, we're looking at individuals and families and businesses. These specifics are getting for prices, the costs, the profits, the competition, and anything else that is going into that. By looking at the individuals and families that live in Reedley and shop in Reedley and the different businesses that sell there, we now know how much we can sell or what our prices have to be. And these are usually for local sandwich shops, Mexican restaurants, coffee houses, any small mom and pop businesses are the individual sector of economics that are using microeconomics, okay? We need to think small like mom and pop grocery stores rather than Walmarts, okay? Macroeconomics. This is a study of the big behavior of our economy as the whole as a big picture, okay? So now, instead of micro being small, I want you guys to think macro as being big. Okay, kind of like the human capital and labor. Labor is the specific act. Labor is the individual doing that specific act, right? Human capital is the workforce as a whole. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that. Think about the differences between labor and human capital, which we learned back in 1.2. And also think micro is small, just like macro is the entire sector. This involves big topics like inflation, unemployment, supply and demand. Okay, so like I said earlier, this is not interested in the individuals. This is interested in the sectors. Okay, so this is interested as the entire economy. Okay, not just Readly. So not just the consumer, but the consumer sector. Okay, so it's not just thinking about you as an individual. It's thinking about everybody that would be buying or using these goods and services in Fresno County as a whole. Okay, it brings a national or global perspective. International trade is one of them, and rich and poor nations, the roles that those countries have, and also national tax policies. Macroeconomics, because it's for everybody, national tax policies fall under that. Positive and normative economics. Okay, guys, I know this one and macroeconomics were not green, but make sure you write down these titles. When viewing economics in its factual form, that is positive economics. Okay, so an example of positive economics would be something that we can see, something that we know is true. The unemployment rate. We know that the unemployment rate is somewhere around 3.9%. Okay, we can look that up. We know that's true. Whereas normative economics is how we think it should be or what it ought to be. Okay, so normative economics, an example of normative economics the would be the laborers getting more of the wealth that the business is getting. Okay, so we would believe that Walmart should pay its employees more just because it makes so much money. That is an example of normative economics. Adam Smith. Guys, Adam Smith is extremely important to economics. He is the founder of modern economics. He is from Scotland. That's not important. He is perhaps most well known for writing The Wealth of Nations back in 1776. This encouraged free trade over mercantilism, and people behave in these ways that satisfy their own interest, their own self-interest. Guys, thinking back to 1.2 lecture, what did I talk about when it came to self-interest versus selfish reasons? Okay, all of our decisions are made based off of self-interest. They are not made based off of selfish reasons. Okay, so by him saying this, it just backs everything up. And he also came up with the theory that the invisible hand guides the prices of products. Now, for those of you guys that are watching this at home, I want you guys to go ahead and go to the link that is in Google Classroom. It is under 1.4 questions. And I want you guys, or it should be in the weekly guide, my bad. I'm so sorry. Should be in the weekly guide under 1.4 questions. And I want you guys to answer these different questions, okay? The pages are correlating with the actual page number of the page and not the page number of the entire book. That is because this is a PDF, different page numbers. So make sure you pay attention to the page number of the page that you are on. I want you guys to answer these questions, and I also want you guys to write down the questions. Write down the questions and answer in complete sentences, please. You guys can answer these questions in the next available page of your notebook. Okay? Same thing with this. next available page of your notebook, I want you guys to create this graphic organizer and fill it in below. Okay?